so trendy. That's so trendy. That's so trendy.
Let's talk Shawn and Nikki first.
Shawn and Nikki proved in episode 7 that you don't just have to learn your partner's love language, you also need to know what their repair language is. I've spoken to y'all about the fact that Nikki needs to process her emotions before she can come to a resolution. Shawn only feels that his nervous system is calm when they've resolved the issue and then he can process it. Because remember, she stated, every day that Shawn wakes up is like a new day and they start from ground zero. And because Nikki is a scorekeeper, that's never going to be the situation for her, but it's always going to hurt her in her relationships. You have to admit that he has intellectual flexibility. When he learns more information about Nikki, he takes that data and he uses it to change behavior. We have not seen that same flexibility from Nikki. What I've seen from Nikki is that she becomes more rigid in every argument that they have, and it's just a form of confirmation bias. Because I don't find him attractive and this is not my person, every single situation that follows is going to lead to more conflict that I cannot resolve or take accountability for because he is the source of that. And unpopular opinion, but I actually am proud of Mecca and the other men for standing up on his behalf and expressing the fact that, wait, Belle Jolie and I saw that argument and it felt like you were constantly telling him all the things wrong that he was doing, but you weren't willing to listen because in her mind, she's already confirmed her own bias. And she does this thing where she runs away from repair with Shawn, and Shawn hates it. That's why you hear him say, hey, can you stay the night? And she continued to back up, again showing that she is not very flexible with his request. I would argue that this couple doesn't need to understand each other better. They need to be able to collect new information about each other on a daily basis and change their behaviors on a daily basis to learn to love each other correctly. Drop down in the comments, let me know if you saw this trend and pattern where Shawn is looking for proximity, she's looking for distance, and they're both not repairing the way that they need each other to in conflict.
We cannot leave out Courtney and Nick.
I know that dinner had to be hard for Nick to sit through. Courtney went out of her way to throw insult after insult his way. And yet, I still don't think that Courtney is fully rejecting Nick. I think she's actually rejecting responsibility in this whole entire conversation. People were trying so hard to get her to meet Nick halfway. Shawn was asking her to practice physical touch with Nick to see if through some form of exposure therapy, she could start to see him as physically attractive and grow in that way with him. Belle Jolie was asking her what would make her feel more comfortable with her husband. And her answer was time. And I think that is so passive, and it does explain why they're not getting very far. I don't think she's ready for the type of work that this relationship is going to require for her to get through her trauma and meet her husband's needs. Because while she doesn't know Nick, her job is to know herself well enough to be able to help him help her heal. Courtney's trauma deserves compassion, but Nick deserves consideration in this too. And a healthy relationship is going to make room for both. Drop down in the comments. Let me know what you thought about this whole dinner table conversation between the couple. Nick is protecting his relationship with Courtney by minimizing the disrespect. Every time she says something hurtful, Nick laughs. She says that Adam is the hottest, Nick laughs. She points out that the car that he got isn't up to her standards, he laughs. When she jokes about him not being able to kiss her crusty lips, he laughs. This is a very common conflict strategy and a de-escalation tool in many ways. People just laugh so they don't have to confront the hurt of what was just said to them. Because if you acknowledge the statement, then you have to confront what it really means for your relationship with someone like Courtney. The biggest relationship lesson that we can take away from Nick and Courtney is that the jokes that you laugh at today is the resentment that you'll carry tomorrow. And Nick isn't actually creating any type of peace in this relationship by laughing at the hurtful things that she said, because he has to take some responsibility for not creating boundaries with Courtney. Drop down in the comments and let me know if you notice this behavioral pattern and if you guys think that these two can actually work on this, because I don't see Courtney trying at all with Nick on Married at First Sight. Also, if you're not following me here at That's So Trending, make sure you hit that follow button.